Okay, remember we have created just a room with all the objects, and nothing is happening. We can't control the pad, we can't move the ball, etc. So we need to start moving the ball in a direction, and we also want the ball to bounce against the bricks, the blue bricks, or when it hits the wall blocks, or when it hits the pad. So let's get the ball moving. So double click on this one. So we have to add an event, and we're going to add the create event, and this create event is only done once we create the ball, which is when we start to play the game. So we have to add an action. Let's use this one, move fixed. So we're going to start moving the ball in, let's choose this direction, with a speed of 6. That's the speed. And we also have to check the collisions. So we add another event, we check the collision. We have to check the collision with the wall blocks. So we choose wall block, and what will happen when we bounce and hit the wall block? We want it to bounce, so we're going to use this one, bounce. And then we change nothing, just click OK. And also we have to check the collision with the bat. Same thing here. The action is that the ball should bounce. Click OK. Finally, we check the collision with the brick. Same thing here. Bounces. Okay, so let's click save, and let's try this. Let's see if the ball is moving and if it bounces. Bounces, and we don't know if it's gonna bounce when it hits the pad. So now it's just out of the picture, so we have to be able to move the bat. So how can we do that? Well, we click on the bat, and what type of event? We could, if we want to, check the keyboard and control it with the left and right arrow keys, but it's gonna be easier to play. It's much better if we use the mouse. But we're not gonna use this event. We're actually gonna use the step event. And the step event is basically an event that is doing this all the time. Every game is, you can look at every game like a big loop. So all the sprites, all the sounds, background, paths, scripts, everything, all the objects, all the rooms, the computer is checking what needs to be done with this sprite, with this sprite, with this sprite, with this sprite. When it comes to the objects, for example this one, it will go through all the events, all the actions. Then it will go to the ball, check all the events, all the actions, etc. And when it's done with everything, all the objects, everything, it will go back and check everything again. So the computer is kind of doing everything that needs to be done in a big loop. And when we have the step event, it will kind of do all the actions here all the time. So we'll check these actions all the time. So what we want the computer to check is to check the position of the mouse. We want to be able to move the mouse, and the bat should just move sideways, just like the mouse cursor. So in the step event, we have to move, we have to jump to a position, the same position as the mouse. So X is this direction, horizontally, and Y is this direction, vertically. And the Y value of the bat is going to be the same the whole time. Remember, here's the room, sorry, here's the room, and the bat is down here. We don't want it to move like this, so even if I move the mouse like this, a little bit up and down, it's still just gonna move sideways, no, not up and down. So the X value, we're gonna copy the mouse, the X value of the mouse, and we get it by typing like this. This is the X value of the mouse, and the Y value we change to Y, and that is the Y value of the bat, which is the same. So Y is always the same. We change Y to Y, but the X value for the bat is going to be the X value of the mouse. Okay, let's try this again. As you can see, it bounces. Very nice. So it bounces against the wall objects, against my pad, and against the blue bricks here. Very nice. So even if I move the mouse up and down, the pad will only change in the X direction, horizontally. Okay, very nice. One thing, as you can see, we can move the bat more to the right so it disappears. We want it to stop here because there's a wall object here, right? And here too. So we have to put some restrictions on how we can move the bat. So we're gonna do this with a question. We're gonna test a variable. So if the X value is less or smaller than a certain value, so we have to check, remember, the room. Here we have a wall object, and if I move the mouse here, you can see that the X value is 32. Remember, this is 32 pixels wide, so it has to be here, 32, but also the position of the bat is here in the middle, so we have to take half of the width of the bat. And how wide is the bat? Well, we can also get the value of the bat. So let's check that if it's less than 32, which is a stone, plus the width. And right now I can't remember the exact name of this. Sprite width. Okay. Sprite width. That's 72, but we only need half of it, so we're gonna divide it by 2. So if the X position is smaller than 32 plus half of the width of the bat, then let's copy this. We're gonna set the variable, the X value, to the smallest value possible. Same thing if we go to the right. we have to test the variable. If x is larger than, and remember the room is 640 pixels wide, but we have to subtract a wall object and also half of the width of the pad, and we get this by writing this name width and divide it by 2. So let's try this. Now it should work. We should be able to move it, but when we go here, oh, it's not working. Let's see. It's working to the left. It's not working to the right, so we did a mistake. Here we can see it stops like it should, but to the right we can just keep going. So what's the problem? Oh, we didn't change the value, of course. So set variable. Remember, we have to set the variable to this. So we're going to set the x variable to this value. This is the maximum. This is going to be 640 minus 32, and this is going to be 36. So let's try this again. Now it works, okay? Very nice. So now we can move it out of the screen anymore. It stops here when it hits the wall block and it bounces. Very nice. Okay. Next thing, we have to be able to make the bricks disappear.